Welcome back, everyone. It is Friday, May 16th, and the MLB. Our three favorite picks are on the way. As always, it's Austin, joined by Logan, recapping another one-on-one day. Losing a little bit of juice. We won't complain about that. Twins did their job. Gunnar Henderson could not get the job done. He had a what? What was that, Logan? A 109 expected miles per hour off the bat. It just doesn't get – it hits the pitcher and goes right to an infielder. Yeah, sure. Surely that's how the season's going to go. But either way, one-on-one day, we can't complain about that. We got three picks today. Let's try to give ourselves a 3-0 sweep. We're overdue one of those. Let's dive into things. Again, thank you as always for tuning in. We'll have our NBA video live for the Celtics and Knicks game in a little bit, so tap into that after this video as well. But Logan, let's dive into the picks. I'll start with my first one of the day. It's going to be an under in the first five, and that'll be the Orioles. First five team total under 2.5. Now, you know we've been back in the first five overs, and trust me, I got one later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. I believe you can bet the first five team totals on, obviously, DraftKings, one of the bigger books. Caesars also has them. They just don't like to post the lines immediately early on in the morning. I forget there's a couple other books you can get out there. Hard Rock has it as well, as that's in your state. But I really like the Orioles, and we're fading them. I like them. Actually, I hate their matchup today against Mackenzie Gore. Now, I do like the Nats in the first five here, but I don't really like trusting their bats, especially against Cade Povich, who I actually think has been pitching somewhat decently well recently. I'm not saying he's, putting on master classes out there, but he has been serviceable, better than he was earlier on in the season. And the Nats bats just aren't something I really trust. Now, he is coming off a 5 earned run start for Cade Povich, so you'd expect him to pitch a little bit better. The last time he gave up more than 5, he went out there and threw 1 earned run against the very Nationals. So again, I prefer to just back Mackenzie Gore today, and that's how I found success in the first 5. Now let's talk with the O's. And it's kind of a system play, because until they can figure out hitting the lefty, I will continue to fade them. Now, the last time I tried to fade them, it was with Tyler Anderson on the mound, and we all know how that went. He got 2 unearned runs via an error and 1 earned run that was via a ball that got lost in the sun. Whatever. That's how we're going to lose, fine. But if you look at Gore's under and earned runs at 2.5, it's actually more juice than this pick. It's like minus 160. So I don't know why that really makes sense, but if that's how we're going to lose on an error, then so be it. But again, the Orioles have really struggled. They're batting 179, which is dead last, with a 50 WRC plus, second worst, and a 25% K rate, fifth highest for lefties. This is a team that's been really struggling. Now, they not only have struggled to get guys on base, they also can't seem to hit them in. They're dead last with runners in scoring position, and they have the lowest WRC plus versus lefties with runners in scoring position. So again, even when they get guys on, they can't seem to find a way to hit them home. And that's kind of been the nature of their season, hence why they got swept by the Twins for a second straight time. I mean, this is just a really struggling offense. Gore saw the Orioles back on April 24th. He went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. And this 11 straight lefties are under 2.5 earned runs versus Baltimore. Now, 2.5 earned runs, that could cash in our first 5 team total, could not. But if that's the case and we lose on an error, then that's just, chalk it up to the game at that point. But Gore, he's coming off a bad start, 4 earned runs versus the Cardinals, much better hitting lefty team than the Orioles, but still pitching a 3.59 ERA and a 1.16 whip. I do want to note there is some weather concerns in this game. There could be some rain, which might delay this game a little bit. And maybe Mackenzie Gore comes out, starts the first few innings, and maybe the rain comes in and some other guy comes in. I'm still willing to pay to find out if the Orioles can hit a lefty. Even if we get a 3-inning head start, I have to wait. They gotta show me before I'm done betting it. And the only time they showed me was when they got a bunch of errors. You can't count on that to score runs. So I really like the Orioles. First 5 team total under 2.5 as one of my favorite plays of the day. I'll have another first 5 pick in a little bit. But speaking of first 5, that's actually where Logan's pick is. It's not a team total. It's backing a team on the money line, Logan, who are backing tonight.
Yeah, we need this team to be leading through 5. And I'm taking the Boston Red Sox. First 5 innings money line, minus 122 odds on FanDuel. Our card is pretty much a lot of first 5 picks because when we touch full games, they don't seem to work out this season. In the battle with the lefties, we're riding with the home team Red Sox. This is the battle of the lefties, and the lefty I like better today is Garrett Crochet, the Red Sox new ace. 1.93 ERA, 1.07 whip. Great numbers for Garrett Crochet. I mean, there's nothing to dislike about what Crochet's given them this year. He's been great, especially with men on base, only allowing a 178 batting average, which is amazing. And some of these pitchers, when you face them second and third time through the order, they get worse. The batting average allowed increases. Crochet's is actually different than that. His first time through the order, 222 batting average allowed. Second time through, 189 batting average allowed. Third time through, 167 batting average allowed. So as each of these hitters face him, he gets tougher on them, which is what we want to see. Because in the fifth inning, you might scratch a third plate appearance, just depending on how the game goes. I really do think Garrett Crochet's in a good position to pitch well. He faced the Braves way back last season, masterclass them. I hope he can do that again today against a weaker Braves lineup for sure than they were last year. And in May, Atlanta's only hitting 200 this month versus lefties. Not all that scary lineup versus lefties. I think he gets it done. On the other side, it's going to be Chris Sale starting for the Braves. 3.97 ERA, 1.41 WHIP for Chris Sale. Now he faces his old team in the Red Sox, but I think the Red Sox will be kind of met with a rude welcome back to Fenway. Sale has improved his ERA since the last time. I remember, I'll never forget the start I backed him against the Rays and he hosted batting practice. I'll never forget that one. But he has improved since that start. But really, if you kind of like dive into the metrics, yes, his ERA is getting better, but a lot of like his other type pitches, the run values are terrible. Fastball run value only 16th percentile. Off-speed run value 1st percentile. I mean, his pitch arsenal is not nearly as deadly as it was, in years past. And he just is coming off an 8 hits allowed to the Pirates, who are one of the bottom barrel teams against lefties. That was a road start for Chris Sale. And just when yes, on paper he only allowed 2 earned runs, but again, that's the Pirates. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But still allowing 8 hits means I don't think he's really truly figured it out. And the Red Sox are a very deadly team against lefties. Second in batting average versus lefties this season, hitting 273. Look, with this pick, I'll pay to find out. I'll pay to find out if they can hit Chris Sale, because on paper they really should be able to. Boston also 6th best in batting average at home. Have to trust their bats today. Have to trust them to give Garrett Crochet run support. And look, if the bullpen blows it late, I don't really care. That's why I'm taking a first 5 innings money line. Keep the bullpens out of it. Don't want any sell jobs there. But I love that as my favorite pick of the day. Austin, you got one more first 5. Where are you going?
Yeah, let's see if we can stay hot on these team totals here, because that's really been the market that we've done super well. I think on first 5 team totals I have on my screen, we're 9-3 on those, and on earned runs prop 7-3, which are kind of the same thing as like first 5 team totals. So that's kind of what we're going to lean into, try to turn the season around, and let's try to go 3-0 today. I'm sticking in the same division as Logan, and I just noticed our card is strictly AL East teams: Orioles, Red Sox, and our third pick of the day, Blue Jays. First 5 team total over 1.5, -135 on DraftKings. This one shouldn't move. Yesterday, the Twins one moved to 2.5. Didn't end up mattering as they scored 3 in the third inning. But this one should stay at 1.5 throughout the day. I looked at the first 5 over in this game. Both was, at 4.5. I think it's like -102. I think you could see that. I think either of these pitchers could be tagged for 3-4 earned runs. However, Bowden Francis, he sucked this year. And I know the moment I try to go out there and back or fade a guy that has sucked, he's going to come out and throw a masterclass. We've seen him have many starts last year where I felt like he had a no-hitter going to the 6th or 7th inning. I could get that. And I get it. The Tigers have been really good. So if you want to go to a first 5 over, I don't mind it. If you want a value pick, both the score 2 in the first 5 is my +170. I'm not going to take it because both the score 2 does not pay for me, and you'd get 2 from the Blue Jays and 1 from the Tigers. You'd be like, what the heck happened? But I do think there's runs early in this game. And let's talk about why we're fading Jack Flaherty, who will start for the Tigers against the Blue Jays, and where we need 2 runs to come from. Now, Jack Flaherty started this year, scorch or not, he was really good. I think his first start wasn't great, but then his next 2 starts were pretty good. But his last 5 starts, he has been anything but good. A 6.66 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. He's really struggling. And the underlying metrics aren't saying that he should be getting a lot better. 20th for 5th percentile in expected ERA and 13th in barrel percentage, giving up a lot of hard contact. In fact, in his last start, which I believe was against the Rangers, gave up 4 home runs. Now, I expect Flair to be better than that, but he has allowed a home run in 4 of his last 5, and that could be the difference here. We think about how the Twins got it done yesterday. They got a guy on, boom, 2-run home run, cash the bet in the 3rd, and we can walk away, turn off the game. But this is a guy in Flaherty that's really struggling. In his last 2 starts in May, 4 and 5 earned runs. And that came to the Angels and Rangers. Those are two bottom of the barrel offenses. Rangers about middle of the pack. Angels have been terrible, and they still got 4 earned runs off of him. Now, the Blue Jays saw him twice last season, Jack Flaherty, that is, scoring 3 and 2 earned runs. They really didn't get to him until later in that game. But last year, the Blue Jays offense was a disaster. This team could not hit with runners with scoring position. Let's pray that's not what we get today, because they, on paper, have been one of the more reliable offenses. In fact, in May, the Blue Jays are hitting 296 with a 143 WRC plus, an offensive metric, against righties. Both those numbers, number 1 in baseball. So they've been really crushing righties. And when you look at runners in scoring position, the Blue Jays in May, 323 batting average with a 157 WRC plus versus righties with runners in scoring position. Again, some of the top numbers in baseball. So I like backing the Blue Jays here because they don't have to travel. They've been staying at home. They had that series against the Rays where they looked pretty good. Then they had, except yesterday, they lost 8-3. Still got to cash this prop though. But they don't have to travel. There's no like, oh, sleeping, whether you travel delays and stuff like that. There's nothing to worry about there. They're staying at home here. They had another home series right after this, and we've seen them really hit righties pretty well. 8 straight right-handed pitchers have allowed 3 or more earned runs against this Blue Jays offense. Now, the problem with earned runs and this pick, the first 5 team total over 1.5, is technically Flaherty could come out here, throw a gem through 5, give up 0 or 1 earned run. And then in the 6th, he comes out and he gives up 2 or 3. Could happen. It's happened plenty of times with Jack Flaherty, which is a concern. He does actually, and Logan won't believe this number. I saw this today. Jack Flaherty allowing a 524 batting average in the 6th inning. So it would be painful if they don't get us 2 through 5 and then pour it on in the 6th. But I'd rather take the first 5 here. Flaherty's not going to go into the 7th, most likely. He hasn't done that once this season. So, again, this is still, even though it's a 524 in the 6th, he's still a 393 third time through the order. And unless he's absolutely carving them up, they should at least the top of the order see him a third time. And I think that they'll be able to get at least 2 through the first 5. And if they get 1, they score 2 in the 6th, I'll be in shambles, but it is what it is. I'd rather trust the Blue Jays through 5, 1 less run and 1 less inning. I think that's a better bet than taking the earned runs, which is about minus 110, give or take. I just don't, I think they could get 3 on him, and let's hope they do it early in this game. So to recap the picks, then we're out of here. Blue Jays, we'll start with the bottom. Blue Jays first 5 team total over 1.5. Red Sox first 5 money line. This could push. If they tie through 5, we'll get our money back there. Hopefully we don't. And hopefully the Red Sox can win that first 5. And then the Orioles first 5 team total under 2.5, fading them against Mackenzie Gore. Those are the 3 picks. Let's go 3 now. We're overdue for a sweep, and we'll see you guys back in tomorrow on a big Saturday slate. We'll see you guys then. Peace.